based on the feedback that I've gotten, especially with the fans, I feel like people are really rooting for me to break this curse, finally get what was owed to me so long ago.
What would you say is the biggest difference between the Mustafa that left NXT and the one that we're seeing now come back?
I would just say Mustafa Ali is your politician that cannot get enough power. And I think that's what makes a good villain. He truly believes he's right. I came back to prevent Mike Santana from going to this point in his career, but here we are. So all I have to say is if he becomes the TNA World Heavyweight Champion and when he eventually crashes and burns, don't look at me because I'm just going to say I told you so.
Rewind, recap, relive. Woo! That's what the world is watching.
My guest today has some of the most exciting matches you will ever see in wrestling. He is on the road to Bound for Glory, where he and the rest of Order 4 will take on the System in a hardcore war match. A former TNA X Division champion, in Ali we trust. Please welcome Mustafa Ali.
My man, you're looking great today. Look at that.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I had to represent for you, definitely. I mean, like you said, you're always suited up, right?
You caught me on a bad day today, man.
Most of the, like 99% of the time. But it's so cool to have you here with so much going on in TNA right now. You recently crossed the line to complete a story that you really never got to finish, crossing the line into NXT. Challenging Ethan Page for that North American title at Showdown must have felt so good.
Yeah, what a unique opportunity, and I've been doing a few media interviews today. This is obviously the topic of discussion, along with Bound for Glory coming up. So yeah, I'm just in an incredibly fortunate position that not only do I get to tell this very personal, real story surrounding my curse, so to speak, when it comes to the North American Championship.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, heading into TNA's biggest event of the year at Bound for Glory and one of the marquee matches, Hardcore War, the System, who have been a staple of TNA for the last few years, versus this new up and rising group of Order 4 led by me. So I'm very, very fortunate. Yeah, my attention's kind of split in both ways, but if there's anyone that can handle it, it's me. But yeah, very, very surreal to be back in NXT and to go toe-to-toe with All Ego Ethan Page on the microphone. But based on the feedback that I've gotten, and especially with the fans, I feel like people are really rooting for me to break this curse, so to speak, and to finally get what was owed to me so long ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that too. Definitely people rooting for you, but you do have a lot on your plate. Sticking with NXT for a sec, for fans who saw you come out that night and maybe haven't seen the Mustafa Ali that you're portraying in TNA, what would you say is the biggest difference between the Mustafa that left NXT and the one that we're seeing now come back after TNA?
I think that NXT run Mustafa Ali was a very experimental phase where Sean and I were trying to figure out what the presentation was like. Who was this guy? And there was a few ideas, and there was there's one vignette aired, about what this leader would look like, and then ultimately that was, stopped. But I think what you see now in TNA is the complete package, the in-ring presentation. I've adapted my move sets, how I walk, how I talk, how I dress, my entrance, the people I come out with, etc., like that. For those that don't watch TNA, haven't been able to see my body of work, I would just say Mustafa Ali is your politician that cannot get enough power. He'll say what he needs to say, he'll do what he needs to do. He makes a few promises, tends to not keep them, but all in the lines of that he truly believes. And I think that's what makes a good villain. He truly believes he's right. So I truly believe with me at the helms, with me in power and me in control, I can make right decisions. I can bring the right people in. I can remove the wrong people, and I can help the company grow. So with that mindset, that's when this character kind of, hey, I'm doing the right thing, but if you don't move, I'm gonna make you move, type of deal. So yeah, I can't wait to actually bring that full presentation to life, possibly at NXT. But for now, what I'm doing in TNA is probably I would say this year has been like my best body of work from a presentation standpoint, from a character standpoint, from an in-ring standpoint. I'm very proud of what I'm doing in TNA. So Bound for Glory is a huge, huge night, and I can't wait to dismantle the system.
That's going to be awesome. I've loved watching you and Order 4 grow together and like evolve. And I feel like, yeah, you're finally getting that chance to show well, maybe we saw like little bits of throughout the rest of your career. You're getting to do it all here in TNA. What was your first reaction when you heard Santino announce that hardcore war match?
Not pleased. Not my forte. I've had one no DQ match in the past with Buddy Murphy that still lives in infamy to this day, and then I had a last man standing. I'm sorry, not last man, a Falls Count Anywhere match with one Mike Santana, and I don't feel like taking off my shirt right now, but I have a huge scar that runs down my back because of that, man.
I believe
And
it.
yeah, and so I'm good. I prefer a good old wrestling contest, but savages will do savage things, and this is what Santino has ordered us to do, and the system have gleefully accepted. I think it's barbaric. I think it's not justified, and I think they're trying to they're trying to level up with me. It's because in the ring, there's not one person on the system that can hang with me in the ring. So they need a chair, they need a trash can to try to compete with me. But I'm very, very grateful to have the great hands by my side and Miss Tasha Steeles. And as eloquent as we are, we don't mind rolling up our sleeves. So we will deal with these savages. We will eliminate them at Bound for Glory in Hardcore, where their requested match. But no, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not too candid about the thought of what weaponry they will bring.
Well, they requested they might regret it. Obviously we trust in Ali, but every time the system comes out, we hear trust the system. And I'm curious, why should we trust you more?
I mean, who's the leader of the system? Go.
Um,
Nope,
no,
nobody
Brian
knows.
Myers. Yeah, right. Nobody knows, I guess. Yeah, I would say Brian Myers, but
No. Well, if you ask the system, they say there is no leader.
right.
Well, how does that work? So Moose can make it, or is it Alicia? Anyway, so you're saying you have a group that doesn't have a direction. You have all these individual. Do you guys vote on everything, or is someone accountable? Is someone man enough or woman enough to take charge? I want to side with that guy. I want to go with that team where they have one person in charge. He takes all the blame or he takes all the credit. He has a clear vision, and now people believe in that vision. What would you do? Would you go with the free thinkers that don't really know which way they're going, or would you go with the guy that knows exactly where he needs to go and how to get there? Don't trust the system. It's in our league. We trust.
In Ali, we trust. Yeah, that decisiveness that Order 4 has, definitely. Well, I can't wait to see that hardcore war match. Another story we're going to get to see conclude at Bound for Glory is someone you have a lot of history with, and unfortunately, I do have to say his name, Mike Santana. He is getting another shot here at the TNA World Title, taking it back from Trick
Another shot,
Williams.
right? That's the key word. Another.
He's getting another shot here. How do you feel? Because you find yourself in a weird predicament here. You and Mike Santana not really on the same page at all, but Trick Williams is Team NXT. So how do you feel Trick Williams has been representing TNA as world champion?
Listen, I do not like the fact that Mr. Williams has what belongs to TNA. I don't think he's a deserving champion by any means. But I do need to remind people of Mike Santana's path. That man is not accountable. He has left his family and his employers, his tag team partners, and so many people of his loved one. He's left them hanging. So I'm more worried about what happens to the TNA World Championship in the hands of Mike Santana. Now think about what I just said. I'm more worried if one of TNA's own
Yeah.
wins the championship. I'm not as worried about Trick Williams. Do I like it? Absolutely not. Do I applaud it? Absolutely not. But I'd much rather the enemy, have our championship than Mr. Mike Santana, a man that is proven to not be reliable. That's why I launched a campaign against him when I came. I came back to prevent Mike Santana from going to this point in his career. But here we are. So all I have to say is if Mike Santana wins, if he becomes the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and when he eventually crashes and burns, don't look at me because I'm just going to say I told you so.
Right. No, that decisiveness again. That is a very interesting take. So not rooting for the enemy, but would rather the enemy in this particular case.
A
Um,
wordsmith you are.
the word you're no stranger though to winning gold. Your debut in TNA, your debut match, you win the X Division championship from an X Division legend, Chris Sabin. What did that moment mean to you?
Other than making history, I think I was the first person,
Yes.
not only my background, but the first person ever to win the X Division Championship in the main event of his debut with the company. I mean, I already wrote history there. To do it with a legend like Chris Sabin, obviously one half of the Motor City Machine Guns, a legendary tag team in their own right, not just in TNA, but all over the world. And two guys that a lot of people like me look up to because, not to age people, because I'm pretty old myself, but a lot of us are TNA kids. We grew up
Yeah.
on the Amazing Red, AJ Styles, Low Key, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, so like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's very, very cool to not only compete but defeat people that you looked up to, and to take such a prestigious championship. The X Division was like a glimmer of hope for a lot of guys like me, smaller guys, certain set style, not quite sure how the crowd would receive us, still finding ourselves as far as promo and personality. So the X Division just gravitated so many people, and it always gave you a chance, right? Like, hey, if you're cool enough, if you're extreme enough, if you could push the limits, then maybe one day you could be in the X Division. So, forever indebted to all those guys that really popped off the X Division. They really changed. I know Rey Mysterio gives like Amazing Red a lot of credit, and a lot of people give Rey Mysterio credit. I think it's these guys that really, really, Jushin Thunder Liger, Hayabusa. These guys
Mhm.
really blazed a trail for guys of my generation and generations to come. Javon, Leon, all influenced by the X Division and this cruiserweight style. So it's so cool to be in the ring with like you said, a living, breathing X Division legend like Chris Sabin, and to defeat him. So yeah, what a great night, what a
Yeah.
historic night, and something that I'll hold on to for the rest of my life.
Oh, that was awesome. And yeah, the X Division all about pushing limits still to this day. Another X Division legend and TNA legend overall we saw return a few months ago at Slammiversary was AJ Styles. And I know you two have shared the ring in the past before, but is that someone who you might want to step in and run it back in TNA with this Mustafa Ali?
Have you seen AJ Styles recently? All right, he doesn't look like an X Division guy. He looks like a
Right.
super heavyweight. So
Yeah, no, he's
I mean,
jacked.
yeah. So that's the only time I want to look. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. It'd be an honor. AJ has mentioned several times now that his career is looking to wind down, so to speak.
Mhm.
If our paths should cross, it'd be an honor to get in the ring with him. We've never had a singles match. We've been in like a tag match here and there, like a multi-man or a triple threat match, but never a one-on-one singles match with him. But it was really good to see him at Slammiversary. Like I said, he looks incredible. He looks like $1 million. We had made some jokes about aging, but yeah, who wouldn't? I think AJ is one of the most highly regarded, well respected, sought out opponents. Not just today, but for ever. You got guys from the past, the present, and the future that want to work him, and that's one day what I hope to be in this industry. I hope everyone's like, oh, I want to work Ali. So yeah, props to AJ. I'm glad everyone's giving him his flowers.
I mean, we saw what happened when you two put your minds together. I think it was a triple threat match that this happened in, but you have one of my favorite Styles Clash, I guess, setups ever out of the 450.
Yeah, yeah. It was actually the idea of a producer named Sean Devari, former WWE talent. He kind of asked if that was possible, and he asked me, but I think the original concept was to hit the 450 and then have AJ kind of like, you know, drag me out of it. And then I kind of like, well, I'm pretty sure I can get enough of a bounce if Miz kind of flares up his arms a little bit. So then, yeah, what you saw is what you got. So yeah, what a very, very cool moment. And AJ is just so strong. He just muscled me up anyways. Yeah, but very, very cool. I think it's a finish that no one saw coming type of deal. So I'm
Definitely.
glad Styles Clash is such an iconic move. You see so many people, using it in their matches to pay tribute to him. So to have a cool moment with him that doesn't end with someone getting hurt, it's like a cool moment. Uh, Compliment. Yeah.
Definitely. Did you always want the 450 splash to be your finisher?
The 450 splash. I actually earlier did the inverted or the reverse 450
Hmm.
splash, and I had spoken about this before. That move is just so dangerous because there's a point where you basically, as you look back and you kind of see where your opponent is, but once you look forward, you lose your opponent. So any slight miscalculation, there's not enough room to adjust. And doing the forward 450, if there is an error, I get to see my opponent before, so I can make those last minute adjustments. The backwards 450, it was just so it was a little bit more dangerous, and it took a little bit more time to set up. So I would have these moments in this match. And this is during my SmackDown run. I would hit something and the crowd would be here. But by the time I got up and kind of set myself to safely do this move, I can kind of feel the crowd dying down. Whereas the normal 450, I would hit that move, the crowd would be here, and I would elevate, and they would get higher. And so it became a thing where I just started experimenting, just doing the forward 450. And I kind of feel like it was getting the same reaction, even though the backwards 450 is way more impressive and way more difficult. It was getting the same reaction. So I was just thinking longevity, timing, not wanting to hurt anybody. So no one asked me. I just kind of changed it, and I just kind of stuck with and after not doing the inverted 450 for like, I don't know, now 7 years, I don't think I have it in me. I put on like 20 or 30 pounds too, so I don't think I really have it in me to do it anymore. But yeah, it was one of those moves where like I'll go back and watch it, like, oh my God, can't believe I used to do that.
It was an insane move, that inverted 450. But that's interesting. I was going to say, do you think did you lose it? Maybe we'll see it come out hardcore war.
Maybe one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really have to dig deep into my bag of tricks to bust that one out. But if it's needed, it's there.
Well, before we wind it down, one final question here. Your matches, I said at the start, are some of the most creative. You said, you hope you're someone that people look up to, like, oh, I want to work like that guy. And I truly feel like people are probably already doing that. Like, some of the matches are incredible. Can you take us into your mind space before a match? Like, what goes through it?
I hope it's not too much insider baseball here. I'm pulling back the curtain, but I feel like one of the faults is a lot of people come to the shows with the kind of like an idea of what they want to do. The first thing I do is I find the show itself. Tom Hannafin or Matt Raywell will have a printed out version of the show, and it'll have match orders and numbers and like little bullet points about what the finish is or what the story of the match is. And I'll kind of read that first. And I'll kind of say, well, how do I fit in the context of the story that the show is trying to tell? Like, what do we need here? If I'm the third match, do we need excitement or do we need to slow it down? Who am I working? There's so many variables. So if you were to ask me, like, how do you put this together? I would just tell you, well, it depends. Depends on how much time I have. Depends on the story. Is it a blood feud? Is it a cold match? Is it a big guy? Is it a little guy? Is it a new guy? Is it all these things, and then I take all of those parameters, I guess, all that information, and I go, well, what makes sense? What if this was to happen? And I just kind of just start. I don't really start. Some people say, oh, I start at the back end. I work myself. I just start talking. I could start in the middle. I could start just whatever comes to mind. I go, well, this would be cool because this is a callback to this moment in the story. Like the only thing I cared about with the Mike Santana match that I had in February was the closing shot. And I had to really convince Mike to let me do this. And he was very, for the story, we did it. But all I could get was this image of me leaving a alcoholic beverage on the apron for him.
Yeah.
Just so commentary could be like, because this is the first time Santana had lost a singles match. I was a loss. So I wanted to, that was the shot, because that's the hook. Is Santana going to fall back because of this, And then because that was a shot, so then that dictated the finish. Well, if we want him up so it's got to be dirty. It's got and then so what I'm saying is you kind of have a starting point and then work back from that point. What makes sense, But that's what I kind of do with my matches. I come and I read the entire show, top to bottom, and I see what's going on. So my match is unique, or I'm not replicating something, and I just take it from there, man. Yeah, it's storytelling, right? So like we can all tell a story, right? Like we can all give a beginning. So you just kind of have that format, what makes sense. You just let it flow.
Well, I love to see what you end up creating out there. That's awesome to hear the strategy. But thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time before your very busy schedule coming up. We've got Showdown October 7th. We got Bound for Glory October 12th. Any final words heading into the hardcore war for the system?
Esteemed citizens of TNA, I assure you, do not trust the system. That it is in Ali we trust.
Rewind, recap, relive. Woo! That's what the world is watching.